what I would like to give you now is some tools, some techniques to organize brainstormings in teams. So it's a really, it's creativity for your professional use. Okay, I give trainings on creativity and innovation on a regular basis to companies and organizations, and it's amazing how simple the technique can be and how far people are usually to understand how it works. So what are we going to do briefly here? I'm going to give you some tools or one technique, one approach that can help you with your creativity. Creativity not meaning that you can paint, but that you can find solutions to the problem you're facing. Okay? So it's a 4-step process. We keep it simple because simplicity means that you can execute it. You can never execute anything that you don't understand. Okay? So first of all, you need to understand it. That's why we keep it simple. So it's only a 4-step process. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about, what the question is, or what the problem is. Okay? Sounds simple? Yes. Well, how many conversations have you been in, or problem-solving discussions, and halfway through you realize someone is completely on another page than you, and you're not talking about the same problem? So creativity needs structure. Brainstorming in a team needs a lot of structure. So what we advise when we work with these techniques is that you segment the time, and you start by saying, we're going to take, I don't know, if you have 2 hours, that would be the minimum to have a great creative and constructive discussion. We take 15 minutes to discuss and make sure everybody's on the same page as of what we're talking about. Okay? I'll give you one example. Could be that the team is looking for more money. Okay? Because money is always the answer, right? It's always a question of money. Well, if you just dig a little bit in the question, why do we need more money? So are we going to talk about how to raise more money or how to have more money? No, because what the problem is, why do we need more money? So we can hire more people. Ah, okay, so that's why we need more money. Yeah, if we had more money, we would hire someone and then it would be okay. But why do you want to hire someone? Well, because if we would have someone more in the team, we could actually finish the work on time. Ah, okay. So what's the real question? The real question is, how can we make sure we finish the work on time? It's not how to get more money. See, could be that we get to the point that we need more money to hire someone to get the job done. But actually the question that we should discuss is how can we finish the job on time? Okay, so that's the first thing. Everybody is okay on that? Yeah? Easy? This is where it becomes really interesting. What most people get wrong is that you need to separate or divide 2 actions. What we call diversion and what we call conversion. Thinking. What do we mean by this? Diversion is the phase that we also call ideation. It's the phase where you try to generate as much ideas as possible. Okay? So you get your team around the table and you say, okay, let's go crazy and let's find as many solutions as possible to the problem. Does that sound what you usually do? Okay, what happens usually? I'll tell you what happens usually. You give a few courageous people go and say, oh, we could do this or we could do that. And right away you hear, oh yeah, but the problem is, oh yeah, yes, but we don't have the budget to do this. We tried this before. You again with your crazy ideas. Okay? What happens there is that most of the time people do diversion and conversion at the same time. Diversion is the phase where you express your ideas. Conversion is the moment where you start to look at the ideas and start to criticize, rationalize, investigate whether the ideas are practical or could be implemented. Okay? But you cannot do both at the same time. If you do both at the same time, I'll tell you what it is, what it makes. Creativity is a bit like putting up a fire, just lighting up a fire. Okay? or just a fire. When the fire is there for a few hours and you put a few logs on it, what happens if you blow on it? Get stronger or weaker? Stronger. Very good. If you just light the match and you blow on it, what happens? There's no fire. Okay, so that creative works exactly the same way. I'll give you an example. What happens if you're in a brainstorming and the boss says, okay, give me your ideas. And you say, oh, maybe we could do like the other department, the accounting department, they had the same problem, they put this in place. And the boss says, oh, come on, we're not the marketing or the accounting department. I mean, what they did there, it's good, but it's not going to work here. What are the chances that you're going to suggest another idea? They're slim to none, okay? It's not just because it's the boss, could just be someone in your team. This is what happens when you express an idea. It's like a match, and you blow on it right away. Okay, so how could we prevent this from happening? We say when we go diversion and we are in the ideation phase, it's not allowed to criticize any idea. So what you need to make sure is put some rules in place. I'm going to give you the rules here. And you just have to make sure that everybody follows these rules for the 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 days that the diversion is going to be. What are the rules? 1, you don't criticize any idea. Anybody can say anything and it's all fine. Okay? Second, the crazier the idea, the better. Okay? Crazy ideas are welcome. You can say something that seems stupid, but because this can drive you to an implementable idea. Okay? So crazy ideas are okay. Anybody can have a good idea. So it's not because you're the boss or it's not because you're just the receptionist that you cannot have a valid ID. So that these are 3 rules. I'm trying to think whether there are others. But these are the 3 main ones. Cannot criticize. Oh yeah, you can build on the ideas. You cannot criticize, but you can build on the ideas. Meaning if someone says something, you can say, oh, that's a great idea. Actually, we could also do this and build on the idea. Okay? So that's the diversion phase. We're going to do some exercises so that you get used to that thing. Only when this is done, then you can start criticizing the ideas. This is the conversion phase. Conversion phase is the moment when you look at all your ideas and you start to select and say, this was a really good idea, but there's a problem there because this could not work the way it is, but how could we make it work? This is the conversion phase, all right? Again, if you do, and this is what usually happens, people do both phases at the same time. We could do this, yeah, but the problem is. So what you need to do is separate these 2 actions. Quick question, how many people do you need in a room to have this mixed up, you think? 2? 3? 2 or more? Thank you for falling in the trap, very good. 1 person is enough. No. Just yourself. Oh, maybe I could study a new language. And then you hear a voice in your head. What? At your age, you're 43, a new language? Come on. You don't already have the time to go to the gym. So you don't need anybody to get this confused. Okay? So it's worst when you have more people because then you hear these voices, not in your head, but in reality. So you can already talk to yourself and just say, okay, hold on. Just give it some time. When you have an idea, just leave it some time. Maybe just 2 minutes, maybe 2 days, 2 hours before you start demolishing yourself. Okay? Oh, I've tried this before, it never worked. Probably I'm just a loser. Okay? So, diversion, conversion, clear? Both of them? I have to still explain. I'm going to finish and give you the number 4, but then I have to come back to why crazy ideas are interesting. You remind me if I forget that? This is a moment where you say, yes, sir. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So, the final point is you select the idea that is going to be implemented. Okay? Simple. Well, you select it and then you commit and you sell it. So this is already quite a few things. How can we make sure everybody commit to the idea? Because you see how it works, huh? You have the idea, what you need to work on. You get a lot of different ideas. How many ideas do you think should be the minimum? Two? One. That was for the previous question, okay? You cannot have one answer to all of my questions. Nicely done, though. Nicely tried. Okay, as many as possible. So usually what happens is that in the first 10 solutions are the ones that everybody knows. Everybody knows that we should have more money, we should have more people, we should have more time, and then you're going to have another 7 or 6 of these. And if you stop there, you don't invent anything. You're just in the box, and you just with your silly 10 ideas that you repeat every time. Actually, the same brainstorming 2 years earlier, same thing. More money, more time, whatever. Okay, more holidays, more money, less work. Okay, that's good for everybody. So, I usually recommend at least 200 different ideas. The thing is that if you push yourself, if you don't push yourself, you're gonna have 10 ideas. And then you look around and you say, oh, do we have everything? I think we have everything, yeah. 10, maybe 12. But then you don't create anything. You don't innovate, you just repeat the same things that you already know. If you say, okay, we don't stop until we have 200 ideas, then that becomes interesting. Usually around IDs 87, or IDs 96, or IDs 43, you really have something brilliant. If you stop at 12, it's rare that you really get something interesting. If you take the time to go to 100, then suddenly something is really standing out. And you're like, whoa, this is a good idea. And actually, I think we could do it. Okay? So, last part here is you need to, the question was, how can we have everybody committing to the idea?
There should be a decision body, I think.
You have to decide, you have to have a decision process. The best decision process, or the ideal is, you can rarely have everybody agreeing fully, in the sense of saying this is the right idea. But what you have to fight for, work for, is to get at least everybody saying this was not my. Most people saying this was not my idea, but okay, let's give it a try. Okay? If you wait for everybody to say this is the idea, it won't work because you won't have everybody around or behind the same idea. But if you have a majority of people saying, oh, that's the best idea, let's go with this one, and you have nobody saying, over my dead body, no way we're going to try this. Because otherwise, what's going to happen? Well, then sabotage it. Then just sit and wait and just sabotage the whole thing and then say, oh, you see, I told you it would not work. So this is what you want to avoid. You want to have everybody, but just don't go, oh, we are 10 and 6 of us, we want this. Deal is over. Let's go with this because 6 of us out of 10. Because you have 4 that are just going to make everything they can to make it not go right. Okay? And then you have to sell the idea. When it's selected and everybody is behind it, at least not fighting the idea, you have to sell it. That's a different discussion. How to negotiate and present your idea the best way possible. What was, there was one thing I had to tell you? Very good, you follow it. So, why crazy ideas, you think?
Because they are suggestive. Maybe they can lead to something else.
That's it. Usually what happens is creativity works with relaxation. You need to be sort of a bit relaxed and a bit in a funny mood in order to be creative. If you're overstressed or tired, you just turn around in the things that you already know. You stay in the box, as we say, okay? You just repeat the same things. You just have to observe yourself. When you're stressed out, you just repeat the same behavior and that you're on automatic pilot. Whenever you go a bit crazy with the ideas, then suddenly it can lead to something that is actually practical and that you can implement. I'm just going to give you a small example. We did a brainstorming on what could be the theme for our next team building? Okay, first 5 ideas. What do you think they might be, the first 5 ideas? Let's go to the bowling. Let's eat a pizza and beer. Let's go, a bowling party, black and white party, and then it's every time about the same thing that are coming back. So let's then do a brainstorming and be crazy and have crazy ideas. So someone says, oh, I'm actually from Croatia. So you know what we could do is take the whole team to Croatia, okay? So there you have the financial guy in the team that is already screaming, whoa, hold on, we have 3,000 for the whole budget for the whole team and we are 30 in the team. How do you think that we can bring everybody to Croatia, even for one day? What's wrong here? Criticizing. So that doesn't work. So what can you do? Build on the idea. So even though you're raging inside, a stupid guy with Croatia, this is stupid, what is this brainstorming stuff? So you build on it. You say, okay, Croatia, wonderful. So we have to fly there. Yeah, everybody, we fly to Croatia, wonderful. Someone says, oh, let's bring all our families with it. You say, yeah, sure, family, wonderful, and bring everybody, my grandfather. And then you just have fun, you just laugh, you see? And so you have the finance guy going, I don't like this exercise. It doesn't make any sense. And then I could be there saying, flying is nice, but what's better if you're flying than jumping out of the plane, parachuting? That would be nice. We get over Croatia and we just jump from the plane, right? And the grandmother along. We just push. Do you know the joke? It's coming from a Navy SEAL. He said that his instructor said, just before he did his first jump, he said, I have good news for you, Surgeon. You now have the rest of your life to figure out how to open the chute. Then they push him. Of course, we parachute from the plane. And then, that makes me think of something. Do you know that they just opened a facility right there with soufflerie, that is blowing air? Mm-hmm. There's actually simulating parachuting. Oh, what do they do? Their core business is what? Team building. That's on budget. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now we have an idea. So you see, we have to take a detour from crazy, go crazy, and then you get to something that is a bit innovative, right? So this is why you can and you should allow crazy ideas in your brainstorming. Okay? Make sense? We leave it there.